love this little bit that Larry Carlton plays on Steely Dan's Kid Charlemagne, and it's really simple. It stays in one area and has two distinct sections. So let's look at the first part. This is it's all under a C kind of 6/9 chord. That's the harmony underneath. And really he's just playing that exactly. He's going, sliding into just a C major triad. And this kind of pivot point sounds a little more difficult than it is. He's just playing C major pentatonic. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. But he's using an E note underneath every other to kind of pivot and make the intervals get higher, kind of bouncing up and down. Without that pivot point, it would be, which is cool, but now it's way hipper. And then that's how that phrase ends. So that's all C major kind of pentatonic stuff. And then it goes to a B flat 13 chord. And what happens here is he stays in the same position, but he alters to fit that B13 kind of sharp 11 sound. So again, it kind of sounds like the same pivot point thing, but backwards. I like that last little bit especially. It has that kind of 13 sharp 11 sound because he's doing a C triad and then chromatic approach to a B flat. If you take it out of context of the harmony, it's almost just like a C7 shape. You would play that over a C7 all the time, but since it's over a B flat chord, you get that 13 sharp 11 sound. So this is just a great use of playing around with simplicity and really just nailing the harmony and making sure that phrasing is so important. It's almost like there's no other way to play over those two chords. It's just absolutely perfect. So let's go to 75% now. So yeah, what I like about this one a lot is the use of basic guitar pentatonic box shapes, right? Basically, we're in an A vamp, kind of like an A7 vamp. And he's using a substitution. He's doing a tritone away, doing an E flat major pentatonic. So, and again, if you're thinking of box shapes, he's really just using C minor pentatonic because that's the relative minor to E flat. So that's the box for that first shape. He's going. That's literally just the E flat / C minor pentatonic going up, and then he goes up a half step. Obviously a classic trick with guitars is moving up a half step. So E major or C sharp minor. That box. So that's the first part of the lick. Now, really the toughest thing about this, it's fast, of course, but it's really the rhythm. The rhythmic placement is really interesting. There's like 1, 2, 3, and it starts on beat 4, and all the notes, the major rhythmic value in this is triplet 16th notes. So it's 1, 2, 3, triple it, triple it, triple it, triple it. Triple it, triple it, triple it, triple it. So he's fitting 6 notes within each beat a lot of the time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That kind of thing. And then that's basic groups of triplets, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all cool. And that little descending bit is also just within threes. But he takes that triplet idea and groups them into 4 when he goes up to that half step. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear how the rhythm kind of flows at a different pace, even though it's the exact same meter and the same note value, which is 16th note triplets. He's going from triplet to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Triplet. It's a classic way to group triplets is within 4. So instead of 4 groups of 3, triplet, you have 3 groups of 4, triplet. And the way he uses that really solidifies this kind of over the bar line type thing, especially with the whole thing starting off on beat 4 anyways. So he's really kind of obfuscating the downbeat a lot of the time. So he's go. What happens here? Sorry. Goes back down to the C minor. So for four beats, 4 notes, and then his last pentatonic shape, rounding it out back into the original tonality of A7, but he's using just like a C major pentatonic or an A minor pentatonic. This is all A minor pentatonic right here. And then landing on the 6. Kind of a classic, put it back into the A dominant 7. So again, just to clarify, reiterate, the tonalities he's working in is 3 different pentatonic shapes, right? C minor or E flat major, C sharp minor, E major, and then C major, A minor. This is all over A7, so you have this. Let me turn off the distortion. Kind of an altered, that's a super altered, the E flat over A, and then the E major over A has a different vibe, and then, you know, just the C minor, or the C major, just makes it an A minor, you know. Okay, so that one's awesome. Again, the hardest part for me is not only the tempo, but also the way he phrases it. Again, the phrasing is so important in you know, grouping your triplets in 3s and 4s. So this is such a great use of a rhythmic motif, right? So Scofield plays almost the same rhythm for most of this little line, and then it kind of takes off from there. So the rhythmic motif is, it's an 8th note and then a quarter note, but it all starts on the and. So it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. One, 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. That's the first 2 measures, and this is all kind of E flat 7 stuff, right? This is an E flat blues. So I love the way Scofield plays with rhythm in this E flat blues, the first 4 measures of an E flat blues. So right now, the first 2 measures, he's dealing with just simple E flat 7 type stuff. These are the notes he's using: C, D flat, E flat, F, G flat. Pretty simple E flat type stuff. But what makes it cool is his use of rhythm. So it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. It's got that same rhythm for two measures. It's the and of 1 and 2, and then the and of 3 and 4. And that's all it is. 1. And that extends into the next measure. And right there he uses the same rhythm but kind of extends it a little bit. But now as far as notes, all of this is kind of like, whoa, what's happening? You got an A, C, B, G, then an A, C sharp, G, and A, E, E flat, C sharp. So all this stuff, if you can relate it to an E flat chord, that's fine. Sort of like an E flat whole tone type thing, but to me, what he's doing really is solidifying a substitution. E minor, and E minor 11 to A7, getting to our A flat. How does he get there? Instead of in a normal blues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5 to the 4 chord, instead of a 2, 5 going to 4, he tritone subs the 2 and the 5. This is a simple and effective thing that you'll hear Bill Evans use, or a lot of people. So instead of B flat minor, he tritone subs, makes it an E minor. And instead of the E flat 7, it makes it an A7. So instead of 2, 5, 1 to the 4 chord, it's kind of a really cool, like, backwards sounding turnaround. So, and this is all A7 stuff. And then the last phrase is just a very simple A flat triad first inversion. I like the trill goes up from the A flat and the A though, to kind of get more of a bluesy. Right? Love that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I love the way Scofield plays with rhythm in this E flat blues, the first 4 measures of an E flat blues. So right now the first 2 measures he's dealing with just simple E flat 7 type stuff. These are the notes he's using. C, D flat, E flat, F, G flat. Pretty simple E flat type stuff. But what makes it cool is his use of rhythm. So it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. It's got that same rhythm for two measures. It's the and of 1 and 2, and then the and of 3 and 4. And that's all it is. 1. And that extends into the next measure. And right there he uses the same rhythm but kind of extends it a little bit. But now as far as notes, all of this is kind of like, whoa, what's happening? You got an A, C, B, G, then an A, C sharp, G, and A, E, E flat, C sharp. So all this stuff, if you can relate it to an E flat chord, that's fine. Sort of like an E flat whole tone type thing, but to me, what he's doing really is solidifying a substitution. E minor, and E minor 11 to A7, getting to our A flat. How does he get there? instead of in a normal blues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 5 to the 4 chord, instead of a 2, 5 going to 4, he tritone subs the 2 and the 5. This is a simple and effective thing that you'll hear Bill Evans use, or a lot of people. So instead of B flat minor, he tritone subs, makes it an E minor. And instead of the E flat 7, it makes it an A7. So instead of 2, 5, 1 to the 4 chord, it's kind of a really cool, like, backwards sounding turnaround. So, and this. It's all A7 stuff. And then the last phrase is just a very simple A flat triad first inversion. I like the trill goes up from the A flat and the A though, to kind of get more of a bluesy. Right? Love that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I absolutely love this solo by Carlos Rios, the great session guitarist. This is over Gino Vanelli's song Brother to Brother. I know he kind of had a lot of schmaltzy hits, but he really is a genius of arranging and harmony and really combining some like jazz fusion and rock elements, and he's gone to do orchestral things, so check him out. He's not cheesy. I mean, he's a little bit cheesy sometimes, but this stuff, Brother to Brother, it's just like a 9-minute epic. So Carlos does some incredible things, but let's just go over the harmony for that little section. So it's B minor, A minor, E7, G major 7, C minor half diminished, F sharp 7, and then to a F sus. So again, it's so kind of cool changes. Sort of, I kind of analyze it within D major. So it's 6, turn around to 4, and then 7, 3. But then it doesn't resolve to B minor again, like it would just loop. It goes to kind of a key change to F sus, E flat over F. So let's talk about what Carlos does. I love his solo because it combines so much rock idiomatic playing, but also straight up bebop and bebop language. And this section really highlights that. So this section, I'm just like, what? But really, it's pretty classic bebop alter dominant language. You hear that all the time. That's just D, D7 altered, which is E flat melodic minor. So he's just playing that bebop language. And he kind of does this cool resolution. Chromatic tones getting to the G, resolving to the G, going A flat, F sharp, G, kind of a classic approach notes. But he actually gets to the G an eighth note early. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So he actually anticipates that resolution really briefly, which is cool. The phrasing is great on that. Then it goes. That's all kind of G major type stuff, or even within D major. Just it's all like G Lydian things. Kind of a G major 7 arpeggio. even that is harkening to D major. But then again, just over the G major makes it hipper sounding. So then here, over the minor 2/5, he doesn't really outline them explicitly. He's really still playing the D major material because it's still within the key, right? But it almost kind of over the harmony, almost sounds like an F sharp Phrygian type 5. So it sounds sorry. And then to end it out, he goes. It's an E flat triad, basically. 5, 3, 9, 1, which outlines the F sus harmony beautifully. So, again, he's really just using this bebop language, using chromatic tones, passing tones, a little bit of anticipating the harmony, and then that's all just D major stuff, really. Nothing crazy there. And then to end it out, he really opens it up rhythmically, because everything before that was all 16th notes. So now, like, whoa, crazy. And then you get to that F sus, nice open harmony goes. He makes the rhythm long and really kind of settles everything. And now you know that phrase is definitely over. That's kind of his bookmark. So again, the whole thing one more time. 1, 2, 3. Check out the solo, it's awesome. Alright, this Kurt Rosenwinkel line over his tune Zhivago, which he originally recorded on The Next Step in the early 2000s, but this was that big band album called Our Secret World from, I think, maybe 2011. This is crushing. It's so crushing. So his tune, it's in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, and the harmony is... It's interesting because it's very much sounding in one key, but the underlying motion kind of goes through some cool harmonic sound. So it's E flat minor, E flat over E, like F minor 11, and then F sharp minor 13. So that would be with the flat 7 and the 6. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It sounds like, oh, what am I going to play over that? But as you see, Kurt just kind of uses E flat minor pentatonic stuff with a little bit of outside sounds, at least in this section. So, okay. I just love that first line, and this is a very New York thing that comes from a Coltrane recording. I can't remember the tune, but he goes something like that. It's the original line. I can't remember, but that's kind of like a classic. I don't know. It's a very New York thing to me, and Kurt plays it a lot, as do a lot of other people. It's not a bad thing. I love it. So it's just. Kind of all E flat stuff. 5, 1, 7, flat 7, 5, flat 3, 4, 5. Then here it gets cool. He does a quick E major sound. And again, it's actually interesting because he's starting this phrase over the F minor, and the F sharp. So he's really just kind of treating it all as E flat stuff. He's not really playing those specific changes. So the next measure, that could not be more E flat minor than you could get. Okay, so the first two measures with the little pickup, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so just going E flat minor, a little bit of an E triad, and then back to E flat minor. And then he solidifies the E flat pentatonic stuff especially, but here he does a really cool trick. He's able to double a note by playing the same note on two different strings. So here's doubling a B flat, well, that tune, sorry, doubling the E flat. So he's just doubling those two notes using the two different strings. This kind of harkens to what I call that like false fingering that like a saxophone player would do. You hear that a lot. It's kind of just our way of doing that on guitar, and it gives it kind of a cool sounding line that's still just E flat pentatonic. That's all the notes are. Basically in that box. E flat minor pentatonic box. But now he's doing, to get those double notes, you gotta have a little different fingering. So anyways, it's, sorry. So the first measure of that, and then the next measure, some bigger intervals in there. Again, solidifying his own statement. If you look at the end of measure 2, he ends it by going, and the end of measure 4, he goes, so kind of that call and response thing to himself. So again, that whole line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. It's really cool. There's some subtle phrasing things that I like a lot, especially in that first measure. Because it sounds like he's ending, like the line resolves like an eighth note early to the E flat minor. Right here it sounds like it's done, but there's another quick 16th note, and then it's the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Kind of hard to count that because it's going against itself a little bit. So again, just another example of really strong phrasing within the 16th note rhythmic values. Like the Mike Stern one and the Carlos Rios one, we're able to see that even when you're playing fast rhythms, you can kind of flow against, go over the bar line, go against that type, the basic underlying harmony and the bar lines and stuff is really cool.